VCY America presents CrossTalk, a nationwide call-in program discussing issues that have an effect on our families, our communities, our churches, our nation, and our world. CrossTalk, an opportunity for you to voice your concerns for biblical principles. And now live by satellite and around the world on the internet at vcyamerica.org. Here is today's CrossTalk.
Well, good afternoon. Welcome to CrossTalk here on the VCY America Network. Jim Schneider with you today. And folks, we're going to do something on CrossTalk that has not been done before on a particular topic, and that is we're going to focus in on the topic of Islam today, but this is going to be an open forum on Islam, whereby you're going to be able to ask questions you have about Islam. Let me first introduce our guest. It is a well-known friend to us here at VCY, Usama Dakdok. He was born in Egypt, raised in a Christian home, son of a Baptist pastor, became a Christian at the age of 11. But as he went through the Egyptian schools, Islam was a mandatory subject, and so he became schooled in Islam, and then he furthered his knowledge of Islam by studying Islamic law in college. He came to the States in 1992. Several years later, in 2001, he founded the Straight Way of Grace Ministry. He now travels throughout the United States in order to equip the saints to be effective witnesses of Jesus Christ to their Muslim neighbors, as well as ministry to Muslims directly. He's conducted a full comprehensive English translation of the Qur'an and has also recently released a 2-volume set of books entitled Exposing the Truth About the Qur'an, the Revelation of Error. Brother Usama, nice to have you with us today in CrossTalk.
Thanks, Brother Jim. It's my joy to be here with you.
Folks, again, this is an open forum on CrossTalk today on the topic of Islam, and any question you have on Islam, whether it's about witnessing to Muslims, whether it's about Islam's view of sin and salvation, or what is jihad, is Allah the same as the Christian God, or maybe you have questions about Sharia, the tenets of Islamic law, maybe you have a question about Sharia finance or other questions. I'm opening our phone lines right now for you to call and ask your questions on Islam here today. Our number is 1-800-733-9829. 1-800-733-9829. We'll take as many calls as possible, but certainly get online right now. No doubt you have questions pertaining to Islam. Maybe they're trying to open a mosque in your community. You're concerned about the teachings of Islam. Where you're witnessing to somebody about Islam and have been stumped about some aspect of it. Pick up your phone and call 800-733-9829 here on CrossTalk. Well, to get us started, Usama, today there was a disturbing story that came through the Christian Post. The headline is, Islamic expert warns Christians may be completely disappear from Iraq, Afghanistan, and Egypt. And this is because of the Christian persecution that's taking place. And they are certainly concerned as to the direction things are going, where many Christians are having to flee these countries and head even to another Islamic nation at the present. But as this is going on in these countries right now, this mass exodus, do you believe that Christians here in the United States might be in danger of Christianity being eradicated, whereby the Christian view is no longer accepted? Christians are not welcome, but Islam is going to advance here in the United States?
Brother Jim, that's exactly the problem we're facing today in the Middle East, and that's the problem we're going to face here in America in the future. It's sad that because I know personally some of the Christians who are persecuted in my home country, Egypt, and in Iraq, and in Syria, and these people I know personally. And when they go to the American embassy, try to get visa to escape to America, they may think in Egypt that's a Christian nation. They get rejection from the American embassy. But in the same time, these embassies issue visa, including refugee visa to Muslim in these countries. So Muslim can come from a persecuted Christian countries to America easy, no problem. They will not be rejected. But in the same time, you as a Christian have to prove to them that you are persecuted. You have to show them somebody dead in your family, or somebody have broken head or broken arm. Crack in the head or broken arm. Otherwise, you get rejection. It is unbelievable because we're living in the last days where evil are called good and good is called evil. Islamists can come to America. Muslim can come to America, no problem. Even when they come here, they apply for a refugee status here in America. As we have this case, obviously, in Boston. These are a family who came from a Muslim country who claim to be persecuted. I don't believe Muslims are persecuted in any of in the world, not just the Muslim countries. Muslims are not persecuted in Saudi Arabia or Egypt or Iran or Iraq or Afghanistan. Why we issue Muslim a refugee status in America, but Christian from the midst of the crisis and the midst of the persecution, we do not give them the visa. I don't know. It's bad. It's really bad.
And let me ask you this, too, here as the phone lines are filling up, and that is, so often we say, well, how can we speak against Islam here in the United States? How can we oppose a mosque from going up? After all, we have freedom of religion here in America, and if we seek to somehow stifle the expansion of Islam, or we say, no, you can't put a mosque here, or no, you can't have these teachings here, then we shoot ourselves in the foot, saying, well, if you don't allow that for Islam, you don't allow it for Christianity.
Well, Brother Jim, it's very simple. We need to understand Islam. We need to learn Islam. We need to open the Qur'an and read what is written there. Because Muslim in America, very simply, they're using our freedom of religion to exist in America. But if we open the Qur'an, if we read the word of Allah in the Qur'an and the commands of Muhammad in the Hadith, if we know the real Islam, they are not welcome in America because of our freedom of religion. You see, Muslim in America, when they kill their sons and their daughter for leaving Islam, I'm not talking about killing some Christian neighbor next door, their own family. They do this because that's what is known honor killing. Honor killing in America is known by all liberal media and most American people as a culture, saying no. That's Quran chapter 6 verse 151, where Allah clearly taught the Muslim that the blood of the Muslim cannot be shed except in 3 cases: murder, adultery, and apostation. So for a Muslim young man or a Muslim young lady to become a Christian in America, her family are obligated to kill her. And we do not see this to be the truth of Islam. That is Islam. And if that's what Muslims believe, that means there is no freedom in religion in Islam, which means Muslims cannot build a mosque in America. Today, they are killing their sons and daughters for becoming a Christian. Tomorrow, they will kill our children and our grandchildren in America for not accepting Islam, because that's the real teaching of Islam as it is written by Allah's word in the Quran, Muhammad's word in the Hadith, and as it is interpreted by all Muslim scholars, and as it has been practiced for the last 1436 years. I know that Muslims in America try to say that they are loving, they are peaceful, they practicing this what we call taqiyya, propaganda Islam. But this will not last for a long time. For when Muslim in America will have the upper hand, Quran chapter 47 and verse 35, when Allah said, "O you who believe, do not be weak, calling for peace." When you have the upper hand, when Muslim will have the upper hand in America, they will be persecuting Christian and non-Muslim. Anybody, as you see it today happen in Egypt, Iraq, Syria, for the Christian, it will happen here in America. And sadly, when this happens, it will be too late.
Usama Dakdok is our guest here today on CrossTalk. We're having an open forum on Islam. We're going right to the phone lines where we have Rochelle calling from Wisconsin. Hi, Rochelle, you're on the air.
Yeah, I have a question. With the Muslim religion rising and everything coming against Christianity and suppressing us and our rights, I have 2 questions. 1, the best way to witness to a Muslim, and 2, how to teach your children. You know, I understand what you're saying about we need to understand the Quran, but what's the best way to raise our children and teach them so that when they're faced with Muslims, they can witness to them and they can be on the lookout so they don't get persuaded by the Muslim faith and go down that route, go down the wrong path. What's the best way to teach our children?
Thank you, Rochelle, for the question.
Well, it's very simple. First of all, for us to minister to the Muslim, we have to know so much about, first, our Christian faith, why we believe what we believe. Can you show me from the Bible the Christian doctrines, the Christian belief? Not just because you believe it in your heart and you believe it just as something you grew up into it. How can you be apologetic to teach the truth about Christianity using the scripture? Number 2, we must know the truth about Islam. We must know what Allah teaches in the Quran. That the true Islam is not what Muslims say here in the media in the United States of America. The true Islam is the teaching of Allah in the Quran. So we need to read the Quran and study the Quran. Because I guarantee you, my dear sister, there are so many Muslims in America, and I can shoot for 85-90% of the Muslims in America have not read the Quran. They do not know what Allah teaches in the Quran. And it's very simple. When I sit with so many Muslims in this country, and I say, do you know that Allah in the Quran said you should never take a Jew or Christian for a friend? They immediately argue with me, no, that's not true. You're making this up. Then I take them to the Quran, chapter 5, verse 51. And there they read it. Even Arab who live in America, they are coming from a Muslim background. They are Arabs. They can read the Quran in the Arabic language. And they argue with me, no, that's not true. Well, guess what? After we open the Quran and we read what's written in the Quran, then they realize the truth about Islam. Muslims do not know Muhammad, the prophet of Islam. Why Muslims do not believe in Christianity? Because simply Muhammad told them that the Bible has been changed. The Bible has been corrupted. Jesus is not the Son of God. Jesus is not deity. Jesus did not die on the cross, and he never rose from the dead. So now, these were the things Muslims believe about Christianity, and that's why they believe we are infidels. Now, do Muslims ever investigate Muhammad, the prophet of Islam? Did they know the truth about the messenger of Islam? You see, anybody can pass a message. Anybody can claim to be a prophet. But until you examine this person and see if he is in his right mind, if he's not drunk, if he's not under influence of some drugs, then you say, wait a minute, we cannot take the testimony of this person or that person. Why? Because they are not there. If somebody tell you a story and you know he's standing in front of you and he's drunk, how in the world are you going to believe his story? At least you need somebody who's not drunk and maybe you can listen to him. Now, Muslims need to know the truth about Muhammad. Muslims need to investigate Muhammad. Was Muhammad really a man who lives a life to make him qualified to be even called a prophet or a messenger? Or was he a sinful man? One of the way I do when I minister to Muslims is, I'll take them to the Quran and show them from the Quran that the Bible is the perfect word of God, cannot be changed and will never be corrupted. And we have this in our seminar, Has the Bible Been Corrupted? And then I take them to the Quran, I show them from the Quran cannot be the word of God because it's full of errors, full of contradiction. We cover this in our seminar, Is the Quran infallible? We also have our new book, Exposing the Truth About the Quran. That's 830 some pages, which we really open the Quran. We make the Quran naked. We take all this, Muslim put over their book, the Holy Quran. When you open it and read and study, you find that it is not what Muslims claim. And then we take them back to the Bible and share the truth of the Gospels. There's a reason you do not believe in Christianity, because Muhammad told you so. But Muhammad is not a qualified person to be a prophet. Therefore, we go back to Scripture. Now for your children, it's very simple. We need to teach our children the truth about Islam. I guarantee you, if your kids go to some public schools, and we cover this in our presentation, Lies in the Textbooks. Open your textbooks, what your children are studying. Look for the word Islam or the word Muslim in the back of the references in the book, and read what is written there and expose these lies which they teach to your children, and show them the truth that no, Allah is not God, Muhammad is not a prophet, as the Quran is not a loving, peaceful religion as they teach you in the textbooks. Jihad is not struggle, but it's a holy war. And how are you going to do that unless you have read the Quran and understand the truth about Islam? So we need to educate ourselves, we need to educate our children about the truth about Islam, and we move on to share the gospel even with our Muslim friends, because they need to know the love of Christ. And if we do not reach out to them, they will never come to know Christ. And they most likely, if not them, their children or their grandchildren in this country will destroy America.
And folks, what Usama is saying here, I just saw from WND.com the other day about this controversial school curriculum management system in Texas. They, a part of their teaching in the textbooks was teaching that the Boston Tea Party was a terror incident and referenced Islamic terrorists as freedom fighters. So, yeah, the textbooks are there for indoctrination, and it's taken place here on this topic of Islam. Well, we're going to pick up with more of your calls here after the break. Usama Dakdok is our guest today as we have this open forum on Islam. Our number 800-733-9829. You're listening to Crosstalk on the VCY America Network.
Back to Genesis with Dr. John Morris, creation researcher at the Institute for Creation Research. Dr. Morris, what do you make of the legends of fire-breathing dragons?
Chris, there may be more truth than fiction to this legend. In Job chapter 41, God himself talks to Job and describes a beast called Leviathan, which he said was actually able to breathe fire. Now, I don't know how an animal could breathe fire, but it probably involved a chemical reaction with oxygen in the air. The Bible also mentions a flying fiery serpent. This was a real beast that Isaiah knew about. There must be something that could fit this description. The legends of fire-breathing dragons would be the faded memories of human encounters with beasts like this. Even yet, there are unconfirmed rumors of flying reptiles that give off an eerie luminescence. Chris, there's so much we still don't know about dinosaurs, but only by starting back in Genesis can we hope to get our thinking right.
Thanks for joining us for Back to Genesis.
You're listening to Crosstalk on the VCY America Network. Usama Dakdok is our guest here today as he represents the ministry, the Straight Way of Grace Ministry, that certainly is warning about Islam and also equipping the saints regarding the truth about Islam. He is a speaker on the daily radio program Revealing the Truth About Islam that is heard daily here through the VCY American Network. And by the way, his English translation, an accurate English translation of the Quran he has done, it includes, it's not just the Quran, but there's the errors and contradictions of the Quran, the comparison with biblical accounts, the talk of Bible prophecies about Jesus. A gospel invitation is given in this. It's a helpful resource. You can get more information through his website, thestraightway.org. That's thestraightway.org. Let's go back to the phone lines. Reg, you've been holding in Portage the longest. Thanks for calling. You're on the air.
Yes, good afternoon. Thank you, Jim and Usama. A quick question. The two major groups within the Muslim community are Shiites and Sunnis. Where does Al-Qaeda fit in?
That's a very good question. Here is a fact. When you hear the media talking about these Muslim and those Muslim and the Shia are not bad and the Sunni are not bad, reality is you saw Iran helping the Sunni of Egypt. Iran are Shiites and they're helping the Sunni of Egypt to get rid of Mubarak. And now you see Iran killing the Egyptian in Syria. You see the chaos here? There's no such a thing as these Al-Qaeda belong to the Sunni and the Brotherhood belong to the Shia. No. It's a chaos. It is the mentality of Islam. Me and my brother are against our cousins. And me and my cousins are against our enemy. So there's, and you hear, by the way, you understand that Shia are only 15% of the Muslims. And you know the Sunni are a good 70%. And then we have Ahmadi and we have many cults within Islam, even Nation of Islam here in America, 4 million plus who are not Muslims, are cult from within the cult of Islam. So there is not such a thing as Sunni are good and Shia are less jihadists, or Shia are good and Sunni. These are lies. If you talk to a Sunni, they will tell you, oh, the Shia are the bad ones. And if you talk to the Shia, they will tell you, oh, the Sunni are the bad one. And if you talk to the Shia, oh, the Wahhabis, the Saudis, the rich people are the bad one. No. The bad is Islam. It is not the Muslims. These Muslims, all these Muslims which you see all over the world, if they are Ahmadi in India, or if they are Nation of Islam in America, or if they are Shia of Iran, or if they are Sunni of Saudi Arabia, they're all are victim of Islam. The problem in the teaching of Allah's word in the Quran is not on the different denomination among Islam. And they all hate us, and they all want us dead.
Thank you for the call. Good question. Let's go next to Minnesota. Bert, go ahead. You're on the air.
Yes, I guess I've been curious for a long time about the Muslim want to conquer the world, and it always seems to me that the invasion is westward pointed. Do they not also want to conquer towards the east, towards the Far East?
Well, here is a fact, my dear brother. Muslims are already all over the world. They are in China. They are in Russia. The military, the army of Russia in the year 2020 will have 40% Muslims. They are here in America, they are in South America, they are in Canada, they are in Australia. Their goal is to take over the entire planet Earth as Allah commands them in the Quran. If you go to Quran chapter 33, verse 26 and 27, you see that Allah said, and a land you had never set foot on. So Allah is telling the Muslims that He terrorized the Jews and the Christians. And then He caused them to kill some of them and take some as captive. That's chapter 33, verse 26, verse 27. And He make you to inherit their homes and their land and their money. And then a very important statement, and a land which you had never set foot on. So the goal of Muslims is to take every piece of land in America. And the war against Islam will not end until literally Islam will take over the whole world supremely. So when you hear some of our politicians say the war is over, no, the war is just begun.
Thanks for the call from Minnesota. Next to the state of Ohio, Ahmed, go ahead. You're on the air.
Hey, I just skipped this. My question is actually it's not a comment. I mean, what makes you to be actually the authority to talk about Islam when you don't even have someone to actually argue for Islam? I mean, what kind of conference you guys have? Number one, when you're trying to actually, instill people that we hate everybody, I totally disagree with you. And when the verses you're talking about, Allah lam tata'uha, you speak Arabic, I'm sure. It does not mean that actually you go take over every country and do that. I mean, Islam is actually defending itself. But my question was, what makes you to lead the authority to talk about Islam when there's no other chair on the other side of you to argue for Islam? I mean, you can have this open forum, call somebody a scholar about Islam, and then you guys can argue about that.
Well,
because I have seen many debates of Ahmadiyya with other, Christian debaters.
Well, Ahmed is
you love that.
Yeah,
Ahmed. What I'm talking about is you're instilling hatred. I live in Africa. I'm an African, and I live in America for 10 years, and I have no hatred for any person because of his religion. And I've never had that. I was never taught that. So what you're instilling is completely incorrect in other people, and you actually asking people to hate each other, which is incorrect also.
Okay,
that's my comment. Thank you.
Thank you.
Well, thanks, Brother Ahmed. If you are a Muslim, if you can read the Quran in Arabic, that the Quran is not open for options of translation or interpretation in the Arabic language. The word is there. When I read the Quran, my dear brother, I don't interpret it for you. I read your great Muslim scholars' interpretation. So I go to Ibn Kathir, I go to Tabari, I go to Qurtubi, and go to Jalalain. And if I'm reading your 4 top Muslim scholars, that make me greater than all of them. Even some of them disagree with another. I will read you all of their interpretation to your book. So I am a scholar. As a matter of fact, if you read my new book, Exposing the Truth About the Quran, I called your scholar, Ibn Kathir, dumber. You know why I call him dumber? Because he's dumb. So your scholar whom you build all your hope and your dream and your vision, that through them you will come to know the facts and the truth about Islam, they are dumber. They are trying to fix your Quran, which is full of error, by fabricating answer for it. As for the debate, Ahmed, if you want to put somebody to debate me, there is not somebody in planet Earth is qualified to understand the Quran better than your scholars, and I call them dumbers. So, and I'm willing to debate anybody. We have tried many times to debate any of your people on TV stations. They refuse to show up simply because they say, I insult Muhammad. Let me tell you something, Ahmed. When you tell me in America that all Christians are infidels and you must kill them by the edge of the sword, as your Muhammad did for all these years, as your followers of Islam has been practiced all these years, that make you illegal to live in this country. And you want to sit across the table from me on a stadium? Go read your Quran, Ahmed. Go understand your Islam. Islam is the most barbaric cult. Not because I said so, because your Allah said so. When your Allah, in Quran chapter 5, verse 72, said to the Muslim that all Christians are infidels because simply they believe Jesus Christ is God. When your Allah in the Quran tells the Muslims in chapter 5, verse 73, that all Christians are infidels simply because they believe in Father, Son, Holy Spirit, the Trinity. When your Allah in the Quran tells the Muslim to behead all Christians, as it is written in Quran chapter 47, verse 4, simply because they are infidels, they are being called infidel by your Allah and your Muhammad, that make you illegal to live or to breathe air in America. And you want to sit across the table for me to debate me? Go read your Quran, Ahmed. Understand your Quran by your scholars. I am much smarter than all your foolish scholars. Thanks for your call.
Okay.
Thanks for your call.
Can I conclude?
No, I don't have anything to share with you anymore. Go read your Quran. See, if you are a Muslim American, I'll let you go back and forth with me. But you're an Arab, and you're acting with the same deception of your Allah, the best deceiver, with the same deception of your Muhammad. Shame on you, Ahmed, who know Arabic, and you know I'm not reading my own interpretation. I'm reading your scholars' books, sir. And you're telling me that I'm not presenting Islam right? We Christians do not lie like your Muhammad taught you to lie. See, let me tell you what Muhammad said in Musnad Ahmed. It is lawful for a Muslim to lie in 3 cases: for their wives, and for their enemies, and for their friend, to make peace among them. Can you imagine this prophet of yours, Muhammad, the child molester, the sex offender, the prophet pretender, the womanizer, the liar, the adulterer? Read your Quran, Ahmed. Go read your Quran. Learn Islam before you come to debate me. Thanks for your call.
To Charles in Nebraska. You're on the air, Charles.
I have a brother that is married to an American.
I'm sorry, Charles, your call is breaking up here quite severely.
Can you hear me now?
Yes,
okay.
Go ahead.
Okay. Well, I have a brother that's married to a gal that has 2 kids and the husband is Muslim. She's Lutheran and so is he, but the dad gets kids quite often, and it seems like when they go over there, he has them, pray to the east and do the Muslim prayer. And I know it really bothers my brother, but it scares him to say a whole lot because, that he would hate to have them take off with the kids or irritate people. How worried should he be about those kids praying like that?
Well, my friend, if I know somebody who is married to a Muslim man, I will never let them leave this country. Because if he play his game and he can keep them in, he can literally keep his children in their own home country. See, in America here, we think Muslims think like us, live like us, but they don't. Our females in the Muslim world have no value, have no voice, they're not equal to anything. So I know hundreds of cases where American lady married to a Muslim guy and he found that he cannot convince her to Islam, he cannot convince her to move all the way with Islam. And then he make a trip overseas. And after he gets there to visit with his family, then he asks her to hit the road without her children. And this is not just a movie, not without my daughter. This is thousands of cases all over this country. Our intelligence in this country, the FBI and CIA know that, but they will never warn the American people about it because simply they don't want to offend the Muslim, and they don't want some guy like Mr. Ahmed who called before you upset about the love and peace of Islam. So I will advise him not to go overseas, and I'll advise her to read the Quran, to learn Islam, because there is a chance for her to lead him to Christ if she will put her act right and she give her heart to Jesus. The problem is she is not a believer. That's why she married this Muslim guy. Now, if she got saved, she maybe can reach out to him and lead him to Christ, and that's my ultimate goal for sure.
Well, thank you very much.
Thank you, Charles. But you would have a problem, Usama, with their children going there and praying these prayers to Allah?
Absolutely not. Absolutely. We need to make sure our children in America, because don't forget now, these Muslim men, when they marry our Christian ladies, they told them, when the children grow up, they can be whatever they want. They can choose to become Christian, to become Muslim. And they thought, by the way, I don't practice Islam. But behold, after the baby is born, 5 minutes, his name is Muhammad, or her name is Fatma. So they give them Muslim names. And as the children grow, they take them to the mosque. And they lie. They are deceiving you, young ladies in America. Muslim men who fall in love with you, they fall in love with you because simply they need the citizenship. You are the only gate they can use to get over into this country and take over this country. And I never saw a case yet where the children grew up to be a Christian after married a Muslim daddy, unless he's nuts.
Usama Dakdok is our guest. We're just seconds from the break, so we're going to pick up our next call immediately after the break. He has done an accurate English translation of the Qur'an, and it is available through his website, thestraightway.org, thestraightway.org. And a matter of fact, when he's saying read the Qur'an, his Qur'an that he has put together here will give that accurate English translation, but also points out the errors and the contradictions so that he puts them right there before you so that you can see those contradictions and errors and certainly see the true biblical account as well. Usama Dakdok is our guest. It's an open forum on Islam today. We'll be back in just 1 minute.